All right, what's going on, everybody? Live 5:50 East Coast time. Gonna break down or really just talk, answer questions like we did the other night when there was like 130 people in this thing. We were on this for like an hour and a half. Not gonna be that long tonight, but we got 2 hours till lock now. I mean, closer to three. Yeah, NBA, MLB. Even there's a 5 game night slate. There's the Padres hitting 10 home runs today or something just absolutely ridiculous so far. So yeah, answer any questions. I'm sure I'm gonna let people file in here. And we will get going. What's going on, Anthony White? How you doing? Yeah. So let me just make sure that this is all good. Cool. Yeah. So NBA, we'll let people file in. We'll answer any questions. Last time it was just going. What's going on, Patrick Valentine? Hello, my friends. Hello, hello. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday evening. Baseball 5 game slate going to start soon. I got to check real quick how many home runs that these Padres have because it's actually incredible. Let's do this. Let's go to MLB.com. Sorry for the. What's up, Justin Jennings? How you doing? DraftKings captain tonight. Crazy Rob. Yeah, DraftKings captain tonight. I like Giannis once again. Giannis, Kawhi, Pascal for me. I know a lot of people are liking Middleton tonight. At least that's what it seems. What's going on, Glenwood Thomas? Yeah, stick with me as I just check this because we might be having a record. I don't know. Look at this, 19-3. So congrats to you in the early slate. If you stack the Padres 5 men stacks, you pretty much guarantee yourself home runs. Let's go through this because this is insane. My phone kept blowing up, and I was like, this can't be real, right? They're not hitting this many home runs. So first inning, no home run. Will Myers won. Ian Kinsler won. There's two. Austin Hedges, grand slam. Guy who hits ninth, I'm pretty sure. Three. Will Myers. All right. Four for Rome. Five, six. Maybe not as many. Seven. Okay, only 7 home runs, but 19 runs. So that's pretty goddamn insane. In 7 innings, 19 runs. So, wow. Yeah, that's crazy. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Glenwood? What's up, Sal? Ready to take this GPP and NBA? Toronto is going to handle business. I think Toronto wins too. I mean, they're at home, right? What are they? Are they the favorite here? Once again, let's check something out. Quickly go to this. 1 point favorite, yeah. So, I mean, it's a toss up. I guess I have that sheet here. Sal, thanks for the stream. No problem, campaign. What's going on? Thanks earlier for that donation. I appreciate that. So, who said it? Crazy Rob. DraftKings captain tonight. Yeah, I'm. So here's the thing. I have right now, and now Kawhi, keep in mind, is more than Giannis, $200 more. No big difference. It's pretty much a toss up at that price point on a showdown slate. And I think that if anything, you're going to see really probably similar minutes. Obviously, Kawhi is the guy who has the biggest upside here. But in terms of his minutes, like this guy can play 45, 46 minutes. I don't think you see that out of Giannis. But median projection, I have Kawhi for 40. I have Giannis for 38. And I think that this could be a game where if it's close towards the end, you need to have this. This is do or die. This is do or die, go home, or you can go back for game 7 at home. And I think that Giannis is potentially in a game like that is going to see 41, 42 minutes, which is something we haven't seen out of him yet. He's definitely conditioned to do so. And if it's coming down the stretch, I think he stays out there unless it's a situation where they need a three-pointer like we saw in the last game. Then he comes off. Thanks for not making me choose between you and Fast City Fear. No offense. Yeah, no problem. Is Fast City Fear on tonight? I'm not positive. I'm just doing this because this is a time that works for me personally. But yeah, definitely don't want to interrupt his broadcast if he's going to be on tonight. We'll let people file in. Clearly Saturday. Clearly people having plans tonight. This isn't the same as when was it the last time? Thursday night when we had 100+ people in here because people were just ready to go for Thursday night, right? Nobody having night plans like they do tonight. Do you think Leonard will go off tonight? Yeah, I mean, go off compared to last game. It's pretty hard to do better than he did last game when he goes for 70 fantasy points or something ridiculous. So I think he plays fine though. I mean, he is probably going to have one of the best 2 performances of the night more times than not. I think Kawhi scores 40 DK points because the rest of the team helps. That's fair. That's a fair take, Anthony. And if that's the case, if you think Kawhi scores 40, I mean, if he's scoring 40 even, if he's scoring 45, he's probably still needed. If he's scoring 40 even, there's a great chance you see him in the winning lineup because he's going to have such a high ownership. But there's also a great chance if he's only scoring 40 points that you don't need him if the other guys contribute, like your Gasols, like your Pascals, and then Giannis just goes off and you just don't need a Kawhi. Crazy Rob, like your videos, some great picks in the past. Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, just trying to give as much advice as I can on this stuff. So, yeah, here to answer any questions, both NBA for really as long as possible, and then MLB here. So MLB DraftKings wise, I'm not really doing the FanDuel. I know FanDuel is having, I believe, the Yankees doubleheader on this, so that makes it a little bit more confusing for pitchers. I'm not sure anybody in here is a baseball crowd person, but yeah, I got the pitcher sheet up that's on Patreon. This one, I actually should update this one to put it on Patreon, and we will do that. but I think locks at 7. Yeah, so playing 4 lineups tonight. Locking Kawhi, Giannis, Hill, Gasol. Thoughts? Only playing in the $4 tourney, says Tommy Hawley. What's going on, Tommy? I think that's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think it's really hard not to want Kawhi and Giannis on any of these slates, right? I think it's playing with fire to fade one of them. And then Hill and Gasol, I think, are still both too cheap. Definitely Gasol, and I think they're fine. Which Gasol will we see tonight? Well, he's been playing better at home, but I think that, I wouldn't look too much into that. I think it matters a little bit comfortability-wise. One of them, though, was a double OT game. If you're going to give anybody 10 extra minutes in overtimes, they're going to just play better. 50 points, though, 55 or whatever it was, is a big difference. Then he played well in that game 4. I think you see a better Gasol. The thing that really changed was, shot attempts, and for the most part, Kawhi dominating usage. He just had a bad game, Gasol. I'm not going to take that for anything. He's had 2 to 3 good games in this series out of the 5. So I'm not going to take it or weigh it too much. I think the fact that his price comes down now to the lowest that it's been in the series, or right around there, 5,600 is too cheap. I have a weird feeling this would be a game Danny Green gets 25 to 30 points. Just a feeling. Yeah, some people have been saying that in the comments. Some people picked him for the $5 PayPal on the main video. And I think that I see where you're going with that, right? Every single game so far, there's just one weird player or a guy who's been seeing less minutes, and then he plays well. Serge Ibaka, Fred VanVleet. Even I think Ersan, like in that game 1 or 2, was on winning lineups. I understand. I get it. It's probably going to take something like that. So, yeah, I'm not hating on Danny Green. He hasn't been playing well, only giving him 17 minutes. There's no reason, though, that if he starts off early and hot, that he doesn't see 25 to 28. So, yeah, Danny Green, I'm probably not getting there. I'm also debating if I even want to play tonight. I still haven't entered any lineups, but yeah, it's tough for me not to. Like, guys who aren't going to see over 15 minutes, and his price is $3,000, so it's a little expensive if he's only going to see 17 minutes. But again, he can see 22, 24 minutes tonight, and it would not shock me at all. So yeah, Danny Green, interesting, but then again, he can fall flat on his face. He's a guy who very easily can score 5 fantasy points tonight because he doesn't hit any of his shots, and he's out there for 14 minutes. Any DraftKings captain no one is looking at? A surprise pick, question mark? Maybe Marc Gasol. I'm really not getting cute. I haven't been getting cute on these slates. Middleton was as cute as I got when he was 7,400 in that game 4 for captain, and it worked. I got lucky. I didn't read the future. He was just too cheap. That's why I liked him overall. And then he actually went out there and put on a show. But I would say Gasol for me. I ranked the captains Giannis, Kawhi, Pascal, and Gasol, and then Middleton 5. I know a lot of people want to get on the Middleton train, and I'm somebody who's going to try and rear away from more Malcolm Brogdon today, which means that I should be higher on Middleton in theory. If Brogdon's not getting there, then likely somebody else gets there on the Bucks. But for me, I'm just saying that that's going to be Giannis and Bledsoe. So if I end up not playing much Brogdon or any Brogdon and having Bledsoe instead, well, then I'm trying to say that Bledsoe and Giannis are the ones that are going to be getting there. Potentially Middleton if I want to stack them all, really. But I like George Hill, I like Bledsoe, and I like Giannis from the Bucks. And I'm not hating on Middleton. His price only came up $200, right? It's nothing that he's too much money now. But the only reason that I'm not as excited for Brogdon is he played over his ceiling in that last game. Like that was his ceiling, if not higher. People are going to expect that to be now this new starting Brogdon, which is not the case. You still have Middleton on the team, even Bledsoe, and obviously Giannis. So he had a good game. That was probably going to be the top performing game that he has this series. People are going to have ownership on him and faith in him as if that's just going to be replicated, which it can be today. It definitely can be, but I'd say the odds are not as high as the ownership is going to indicate. How do you feel about Eric Bledsoe and Norman Powell tonight? Not as high on Powell. I think Powell, though, still sees decent minutes. Like if he's playing well, he can touch 30 again, and if he's not, I still think he sees 25. Fred VanVleet's not going to see 36 again unless he's knocking down 5 to 7 three-pointers. But I had Fred VanVleet at 30. I think he earned his spot on this team, and it seemed like the Bucks were playing a small ball type of offense. Sterling Brown saw minutes, and I have him projected for 2 today, so small ball was definitely being played by the Bucks, which I think Toronto kind of replicated that, going more shooters, and Fred VanVleet knocking down his shots did not hurt his chances. It only helped them to stay on the court more. So I'm not that big on Powell, but I don't think he's out of play. I have him projected for 26 minutes. And I like Eric Bledsoe. I like him a good amount again today. He played the most minutes that he's played, I think, in a playoff game, 32 or 33 in that last one. I like Eric Bledsoe a very good amount. There's bells outside from the churches. What time is it? 6 p.m. Eastern time. That's why it's dinner time. They're letting everybody know. Wilson Ramos just hit another homer. Damn. Guys hitting homers that I don't got. I'm Nathan. What's going on, Nathan? You asked that question. I like Bledsoe a good amount. I like Bledsoe over Brogdon, and that's going to be something that is not pure points related. I have Brogdon projected for more pure points by a good amount, by 6. But if you're telling me one game showdown slate, save $1,000, I'm going to go Bledsoe over Brogdon. That's a stand that I'm going to take. It's probably not a popular one. It's probably not an optimal one most nights. But that's just where I'm going to take a stand, is Bledsoe over Brogdon. I think people are going to own him too much, and I think they grade out in terms of minutes, in terms of production, point per minute production, very similar compared to what the ownership will be. Pat for captain. Raptors blowout and Pat goes off. Little Lit T says, I think that's a stretch. I don't know if that was serious or not. Look, Pat Connaughton, if they continue to play this small ball, he can go out there and see 20 minutes tonight. If it's a blowout, I still don't know. It would have to be a 30-point blowout entering the fourth quarter for Pat Connaughton to get any significant run to be a captain. Let's be honest here. If Pat Connaughton goes out and scores 22 fantasy points tonight, that is very good for him. 33 fantasy points in the captain spot. That would be like a ceiling performance with the minutes that he'll get. 33 fantasy points in the captain spot. If Toronto blows them out, that probably means that you're getting a Kawhi or Pascal or even Lowry, like 50-point performance, which is just too much to make up for it. There's just no real way that I could see Pat Connaughton, unless he's going to shoot 7 for 7 from 3, being anywhere near a captain option, personally. Really tied up between a Van Vliet and a Powell, plus low-tier Bucks plays besides Hill, says Tommy Hawley. Yeah, Fred Van Vliet seems like a recency bias type of play. And I think that him and Powell see similar minutes. So if you want to fade Fred Van Vliet, who's been shooting lights out, and that could stop at any second, for Powell, I don't think that's a terrible idea. They're similar point per minute guys. They can very easily both see 28 minutes tonight. And then it's just kind of a toss-up. So I don't hate the Norman Powell for Fred Van Vliet role. I just think that Van Vliet's been so hot that I think that they just stay with him. But it's not a terrible fade. And guys, in terms of the cheaper Bucks, yeah, I like George Hill at 4,000. And then you're choosing between your Nikola Mirotics and the guys below that. I don't want anything. If Brogdon's still starting, Ersan Ilyasova pretty much becomes nothing with Mirotic coming off the bench. Pat Connaughton gets a little bit of a bump. I'd rather pay Pat Connaughton over Ersan today. Obviously, no Sterling Brown. And I'm really not high on Mirotic. He can stay out there, but if Brogdon's starting, I think Mirotic's ceiling is really like 15 minutes. And there's not much that he can do with that. You have made me a much better fantasy player, so ready for us to crush it next season. Thank you, Elephant. I appreciate that. Do you only play NBA, Elephant? Do you play your NFLs or anything else? Because next season hopefully just means a few months away for the NFL. Do you think Middleton would up his game? Yeah, I think Middleton, I'm scared if I play tonight and don't have Middleton, but the way that my lineups are coming out, one, I can't afford him, and two, I just like other plays. I'd rather have Bledsoe, honestly, for that much cheaper, and I'd rather have more so, and the reason why is Siakam for $600 more. Middleton, though, I think that these Bucks guys, their starters, should see extended run tonight, which is another reason I like Bledsoe to see another 32-minute game. And Middleton really to see 38 is what I've been projected at, something that he really hasn't been seeing as of late. So I'm scared not to have him. He's the guy that I think is very well capable of being another captain option tonight if Giannis continues to see the Kawhi Leonard treatment and Middleton continues not to see that. But for the most part, yeah, I'm not going to end up there. But it's scary. I don't think he's a bad play. I think he'd do fine. Do you do WNBA slate, says Jermaine Powell? Yes, I will be doing them. Right now, no. I don't think it's viable to be doing them right now, personally. Maybe that's not the right way to put it, but WNBA right now is really a crapshoot, to be honest with you, until 1 to 2 weeks into the season, until we have some sort of data for this year. It's not like the NBA where you know who the stars are and the starters are, and there was this huge in-depth preseason. The WNBA has 3 preseason games, 4, whatever it is, if they play overseas for a couple. And for the most part, you're not getting much information out of that. You can see who's playing well. You can see who's getting the minutes and getting the run, which helps you a little bit to determine beginning of the year stuff. But really, it's the preseason. Like any other sport, that's not going to signify what they want out of the regular season. So, yeah, I'll be covering WNBA in probably about a week in terms of purse slates, in terms of stuff like this that you're seeing on the screen for the NBA. I just don't feel comfortable doing it right now because minutes projections would be all over the place. I wouldn't be recommending anything that's in stone. I think it's really hard to be doing that outside of just telling you who the studs are, which really isn't going to help anybody. People can identify that on their own. And I'm also just tracking DVP right now, so I'll have my own DVP stuff for WNBA for this season, which will be a small sample after a week or two, but it's better than nothing. So, yeah, I will be covering that. Chris Sullivan, hope nothing negatively affected your plans. Glad to be in this pregame live stream. Time to make some moolah. Yep, nothing affected him. Going to be at the beach tomorrow morning. We're all good. Travel's done. All good. Thank you, though. And yeah, let's make the moolah. I think Greek is going to step it up. Yeah, I think so, too. Look, if people are going to come off of him, and they rightfully should, to go to Kawhi, he's been playing much better in this series and just really the best player in the playoffs so far, by far. Should be playoffs MVP if that was a thing. But yeah, I think if people are going to come off of him, he's cheaper, which really $200 is not a big thing. But if people are going to come off of him, I still have him projecting for a point and a half more than Kawhi. So yeah, I'll take a lower owned Giannis in the captain spot. I don't think you really get that much of a difference, but I'll still take it. I think he has to show up tonight. He might get increased minutes. You're going to get 41 minutes of Giannis. It's hard for him not to back his way into the highest scoring player on the slate. What's up, Sal? What's going on, Luke? How you doing? Don't hear much about Mirotic. Yeah, I don't either. But the thing about Mirotic, Crazy Rob, is that Malcolm Brogdon started the last game right before lock, kind of a couple minutes before, whatever it was, half hour. I don't know exactly. And the Bucks played smaller. They gave more minutes to Pat Connaughton off the bench, not like 10, but they gave him like 3 or 4 more minutes. They gave 3.5 minutes to Sterling Brown off the bench, and Mirotic and Ersan Ilyasova saw like 9 and 12. They just weren't needed. Mirotic's not been playing well. He's kind of taking up space on the floor. Now they go to the smaller lineup with just smaller rotations, and yeah, that's going to hurt a big player in Mirotic, who's traditionally a 4 or even a 5, and he's been playing at the 3 for this team in the playoffs. So yeah, I don't see, unless they go away from this Brogdon lineup, which seems to have been working, and they want Brogdon out there more, whether it's on defense. Mirotic is a defensive liability, so if he's not going to be scoring, there's no reason to have him on the court. So I don't think that last game was an overreaction. Sure, I have him at more minutes, 14 minutes today. I think 9 was a little bit too low, but I'm not shocked to see that 9 again. Look, they're running small ball. He's bad at defense. He hasn't been playing well on offense. It's going to be really hard for Mirotic to do anything today. Thoughts on Lopez? He's gone down a lot on FanDuel. Yeah, he's gone down on FanDuel. He's gone down on DraftKings. Wasn't Lopez like 6,600 or something at one point after that one big game? That's too much. 5,200 though. I don't know what he's on FanDuel. 5,200 on DraftKings. I think it's tough. I think it's not optimal to go away from Marc Gasol to Lopez, especially if people are going to maybe come off of Gasol. I mean, the price point is way too cheap. I don't think you get that. But based off of a last really bad game, maybe you do. So I'm fine sticking with Gasol for 400 more over Lopez. I'm fine going down to Fred VanVleet. I think Lopez becomes a very lower owned option, but I'm not really there. Yeah, I'm not going to be getting there. He went off in game 1, hasn't been shooting anywhere near that in terms of just pure quality or pure quantity and also quality, making the shots. I'm fine going away from that. He would be the guy that I think could potentially lose minutes today, would be Lopez out of these starters. I think that you're going to see increased minutes for Middleton, even a Brogdon and an Eric Bledsoe because it's do or die. And I could think you see Brook Lopez because he has such a variant plus minus. If he's not hitting his shots, he's literally hurting the team with a minus because he's not doing much on defense. I think he could be the guy who loses minutes, and then you get them out of a smaller rotation, and that's potentially where Pat Connaughton can get increased run, or even a Mirotic, and they play small with him at the 5. I don't think you see that, but it's definitely wouldn't shock me tonight. Thoughts on Lopez? So that was that one. Thank you. Yeah, no problem, Jermaine. Leonard or here we go. Leonard or Giannis in captain, or should I flip a coin? Says Luke. Yeah, flip a coin. Flip it 3 times so you can be sure. I like Giannis, but literally it's a coin flip because projections have Giannis. I mean, it's median, but I'm going to go off of them. Have Giannis at 57.7, Kawhi at 56.03, so 1.5 difference, give or take. I like Giannis more. I've been saying that this is the second game in a row, 3 out of 4 games that I've liked Giannis more, I believe. He's struggling. Yes, he is struggling, but I'm still going to stick with the talent and just the overwhelming. I have him down to 1.6 fantasy points per minute. In the playoffs, he's been around 1.8. So I have him juiced it down today, and he's still grading out as the best overall pure points player on the slate. I think the Greek Freak is going to be fire. Leonard capital. Greek Freak the step up. I think he'll be fine. I think Leonard will be fine as well. I feel like Siakam will be very low owned due to the pricing of the slate. You can't really make a lineup with Kawhi, Giannis, and Siakam. I that's the problem that I saw too, Tommy Hawley, as I was early building. Doing that, you have to sort of get down to your Pat Connaughtons or something like that, which can pay off. I mean, if you're going to get 45, 50 out of Siakam, 55 out of Kawhi, and a 65 burger out of Giannis, and you have your Pat Connaughton, maybe he gets an increase run to 15 minutes, scores 15 fantasy points, that will work. That will work a lot tonight. But it's a risk for sure. And then you tell yourself, well, $9,200 Pat Connaughton, can I just save $1,200 and get down to my Kyle Lowry's, and then that allows me to play Danny Green, or can I get off of Siakam and go all the way down to my Brogdons or Bledsoes even for $3,000 difference, and now I can play whatever I want. I can play my George Hills, my Powells. So yeah, that is a big difference maker. I think that's why you might see less Siakam. Putting Siakam in the captain spot probably opens up a little bit in terms of getting to more down there, but probably still have to rely on like a Danny Green or a Mirotic. So I see what you're saying. I think that it is viable though to go Giannis captain, Kawhi, Siakam. And then go to Pat Connaughton, because even if he scores 10 points, if those 3 go off, it might be enough. And I think if anybody down in that range is going to play well, Sterling Brown's not going to be getting 15 to 20 minutes, even 10, 5 tonight. Danny Green, 3,000 if you can get there. Sure, he's probably the guy who gets locked in more times than not for the most minutes tonight. But if you're choosing between Mirotic, Ersan Ilyasova, or Pat Connaughton, I'd probably go Pat Connaughton. We saw an increase of 4 or 5 minutes in the last game from playing small ball. No foul trouble indicated that. It was just a different type of rotation, and he was getting in more. And he's the type of guy who can go out there and lock a guy down on defense or just really just be all over the court. And that's what you need in a game 6 when it's do or die. Guys diving on the floor, whatever it might be. Like, that might be #bad analysis. But if you're choosing between Ersan, Mirotic, and Pat Connaughton, I choose Connaughton for the salary relief, and I think they all grade out pretty similarly. Can't hear, says Willie. Do or die. Can you hear now, Willie? I put Siakam as captain and Giannis in utility to free up salary space. Good idea, or should I put in Giannis in captain and downgrade everyone else? No, I think Siakam in captain is fine. He's my third favorite captain tonight. I think he's more than fine. He has less Giannis guarding him. He has to guard Giannis less, so it's just been better. If he stays out of foul trouble like he did in the last game, I don't see why he doesn't play really well here. Could easily see, I have him at 37 minutes, could easily see a 42 burger in this spot. Sal, have you ever won big on Draftkings or FanDuel? Keep hearing it's a scam. Won a small amount, but nothing big. It's not a scam. I don't know how this could be a scam. You're playing with odds that are, you're entering, so here's the thing, enter better contests. I'm not saying you in general, just people. I've won 10,000 once, 5,000 once, and then multiple, anywhere from 1,000 to 3,500, like 10 or 11 or 12 times, something like that. But I play different contests than everybody else. I'll play a 500-person, $333 buy-in, which most people can't play, but I'm versing 500 people instead of 30,000 people. So if you're entering every single night one lineup in a 30,000-person player pool, how can it be a scam? That's like saying playing the lottery is a scam. You know your odds are so small. Just because you can build the lineup doesn't mean it's a scam. And obviously people entering 150 lineups into those are much better. Like, if you put all of your money into single entries, you will slowly realize that it's a lot easier to win. You put all your money into head-to-heads, you will slowly realize that it's not a lot easier to win. It's not printing money. You're not automatically winning money. You still have to put the work in, still have to make the right pivots, get off of ownership in single entries, whatever it might be, trust your gut, whatever you have to do there. But if you're just every single day entering, and let's do the math right now up here. Like tonight's MLB 5-game slate, there's like 11,000 people and it's 50K to first, and 25% of the prize pool is to first, which is just terrible structure overall. It should be like, honestly, 15%, but here we go. 1 divided by 11,000. You're entering one lineup, right? Your odds of winning is this number right here. Let's make it a percentage and help everybody out. 0.009% is your odds of winning this MLB contest tonight if you enter one lineup. So those are the odds. Now, you can tell me they're going to go up a little bit if you play a lot more than other people. You have your own projections, and most people don't. So let's even give you the benefit of the doubt and say that you're 100 times better than the average person playing. Well, now you have a 0.9% chance, less than a 1% chance. And that is if you are 100 times better than the field. So yeah, now let's just do one more thing. If you're entering 150 lineups, and this is why people say, oh, the pros, like it's a scam or whatever, but 150 times or divided by that 10,000, we'll say, instead of 11,000, same thing. Now you're getting a percentage of a 1.5% chance of winning. That's much better than the 0.009 or whatever it was chance, right? And obviously they know how to build lineups. They're a little bit more skilled, so they'll win according to this 2% of the time. So if they're playing 100 slates, which for them is probably like 2 to 3 weeks because they play every single slate in every sport, yeah, they're going to end up banking one. And if their optimizer's better, they have a better chance. So yeah, it's a scam in terms of, or it's not a scam at all. It's hard, and it's even harder if you're playing contests that you're going into expected to lose against the best players in the game. So I'd say stick to single entries, stick to head-to-heads. Not an MLB, head-to-head stink, but stick to single entries and stick to smaller contest sizes. I really don't like playing anything over 500 people in it. I'll be honest with you. Like, playing the showdown slate tonight, honestly, is a death trap, no matter what you're playing, because it's so variant and because of the contest size. But yeah, no, I don't think it's a scam at all. Lowry and captain. Yeah, Patrick Valentine. Lowry and captain's, it's interesting. I just never see how he gets there. I don't. He doesn't shoot nearly as much. He's shooting like third behind Kawhi and behind Siakam. In terms of like block upside and just things like that, like it is for Siakam, Kawhi, Giannis, he has to knock down like 75-80% of his shots and shoot a decent amount of volume. He'll get some assists, but not getting rebounds. So Lowry, for me, it's hard to really see him being the guy that's needed unless things get wacky and really nobody goes off. I want to win big on DraftKings, but I never do. Yeah, Buzzworld Hip Hop, same thing. What kind of contests are you playing? Are you playing the ones that say $50,000 to first, $100,000 to first? You're never going to win that. Not just you. Everybody in here is never going to win that unless you start entering 150 lineups, spending $3,000 a night, whatever it might be. You have no odds. Just literally 0.009 is what the chances of you winning 100 plays. Like I finished this year in MLB top 10. I finished top 10 in MLB in a couple of not big 10,000 person contests. I'll never finish top 10 in that. And if I do, it'll be once in every couple of years. But in the 500 people or 350 people tournaments where it's a $300 buy-in and 50K to first, I finished top 10 probably 4 times this year. And the payout structures are so bad that I finished 7th, 4th, 6th, and like 9th. And the most money I've won in any of those was $1,500 when I finished 4th. You should be winning like $4,000 if you finish 4th in a contest that has that much money up for grabs, $300,000 or whatever. So baseball overall is really bad formats. But if you're just playing the big field tournaments, you're throwing your money into a scratch-off ticket, worse really, a lottery system every single night. They're not good. You shouldn't be playing them until you get to the point where you can max enter them. You should be playing single entries and head-to-heads, but more so head-to-heads in your NFL and NBA, not really MLB. It's not that great in MLB. Who do you think will be lower owns? Luke, who do you think will be lower owned out of Giannis and Kawhi? I'd probably say Giannis, but I don't think it matters too much. Question, is DraftKings bookies? No, DraftKings. DraftKings has the DraftKings platform for daily fantasy sports. No, it's not bookies. They just take a rake. They're not the bookies. You're not versing them. You're versing other people. But DraftKings does have a sports book, if that's what you're asking. Miami. Kawhi said Giannis is overrated. Did Kawhi say that, Willie? I did not see that, and I would doubt Kawhi would say something like that, the guy who says 2 words to the media after every game. I believe in my lineup, real talk. That's fine. Great analysis. Hashtag great analysis. Thank you. Toronto going off at home. Going to be a classic game 6. Raptors going to their first finals. I honestly, I don't have a favorite team, but I would like to see the Raptors go to the finals tonight, to be honest with you, because I just love seeing what Drake's doing out there, and it's literally like a college team, like you said. So glad you were talking about this. It's not a scam. Yeah, DraftKings is not a scam. I don't know what to tell you. They started out small as a small site, and it grew really big. And then there was whatever the lawsuit was when there was people inside of their headquarters or whatever, just playing and knowing ownership, something really messed up. And yeah, so that would be cheating, I guess. But it'd be really dumb for them to try and do it again. And I don't even think that's the right story. I really don't know the right story. But there's something that there's a lawsuit. Somebody can tell me the right story. Last showdown slate in the tournament with 35,000 people, 60 people tied for first. I hate these showdown slates. Yeah, I mean, you have such low odds of actually winning the showdown slate, not just first by yourself, but first splitting with people, because there's 35,000 people in it. And then if you actually hit those odds, those really small odds, you're splitting the money so many different ways. So your expected value is obviously great if you win. Your expected value going in, which I guess is the actual definition, is not great. But your actual return on investment, which it should be by hitting those odds, is not there. You winning $2,000 tonight and hitting first place when you're 1 in $35,000 odds, that's not worth it. It's not. If I guarantee you that you're going to win $2,000 profit, yeah, you take it. But if I told you tonight that you're playing a 35,000 person tournament where you're spending $20 to get in and you're going to win $2,000, you're probably going to be like, well, that's the worst tournament ever if I win that. Well, that's what people are playing. But I get it. It's addicting, and we're all degenerates. It took me a while before I took down my first big tourney, and it was an NFL showdown split with 8 other people. Yeah, that's the way it is. It takes a long time. I mean, the biggest tourneys I've won, one was golf, one was NBA earlier in the year. Finished 6th, won Jared Bayless 3-pointer to send the game into overtime away from winning the $100,000 prize that night. Was shaking. First time I was doing that. Earlier this year was literally a week ago. Albert Pujols, if he gets anything, he has to give me 5 points, Albert Pujols. He went 0 for 5. If he gets me 5 points, which is a double, which is a walk and a single, I win $50,000 that night plus a ticket to the Fantasy Baseball World Championship, so the equivalent of $96,000 or whatever it is. So I've been close. That's how hard it is, because you can get close that many times. I've been that close. Yeah, I've won the $10,000 prize once, $5,000, but I've been that close to life-changing money 7 times, and it seems like it's that close because it's one player off. It's one at-bat away. It's one shot away. But that's how hard it is, even when you get there. That's how slim those odds are, because everything has to go right for the most part. Sal, back at it. Yeah, what's going on? How you doing? Who said that? Let's go up. Ant, what's going on? Well, maybe I'll get lucky one of these days, LOL. Yeah, somebody's got to win it, right? I understand the meaning that somebody's got to win it, but realistically, it would take you a few years to bank one of these at best, and a few years meaning 7 to win one of these with the odds that you have if you're playing every single night. And then on a showdown slate, if you end up doing it, you're going to split it. So it's not that worth it. How do you be different, but in a good way for these showdowns? You leave money on the table. I think I skipped some of these questions, but you leave money on the table. That's it. Don't get cute with your captains. There's literally every single night there's viably 4 to 5 captains. So don't get cute with your captains. Don't try and play like somebody said Pat Connaughton. No disrespect, but don't be playing Pat Connaughton the captain tonight. That's a surefire way to burn your money. Don't be leaving $0 on the table. That's a surefire way to, if your lineup hits and all the chalk hits because you have $0 on the table, you're splitting it and you just played a contest that had 35,000 people with $2,000 to first pretty much. And if you're leaving no money on the table, your upside is winning like 2,500 if it splits only that few amount of ways. That's not great. You would never play a contest if I told you that you're putting $20 in to potentially have a 0.0009% chance to win 25,000. No, you'd go and play some single entries that have better odds. So just leave money on the table. I know I continue to preach that, but it's the best way. Unless you have 150 lineups and you can get your 1% chance at winning tonight, or half a percentage when there's 30,000. Would you be willing to play Kyle Freeland at 5.5K on DraftKings tonight, even in cores against Baltimore? No way, Nathan. So right here, the pitching's terrible. So we're talking about baseball quick, Nathan. Yeah, I don't want nothing in. I don't want nothing in Baltimore tonight. Not at all. Not Kyle Freeman. I don't want Andrew Kashner in Baltimore. That is a definition. A 7-run total, over 7 runs for Colorado tonight. Andrew Kashner in Colorado. There might be 8 home runs hit in that game for just Colorado. Pitching's bad. Rue, he is probably the best pitcher by far, but you also want to get the Colorado guys in there who are so expensive. So how do you fit those all with an 11,000 pitcher? It's tough. Mike Soroka, the thing about Mike Soroka is he's getting extremely lucky. He's only given up 1 run per game, right? He's pitching extremely well, coming off of potentially his best start of the year. But by far, he has a -3 differential between his SIERA and ERA. That means he's getting extremely lucky. This is not going to keep up. So Mike Soroka at 9,500, I think that's too expensive for him. I really don't know where you go to. I like Tyler Skaggs against Texas, which is also scary, at 7,300. Joe Musgrove, I probably don't go there either. Not a guy that I really want to risk and throw out there, although he doesn't give up much home runs. Now going up against this LA Dodgers team, not great. So there's really nobody out there that I want. I like Tyler Skaggs, and then it's really take your pick. Rue, if you can get up to Rue with Tyler Skaggs and fit in Colorado bats somehow, that's where I want to go. If you're not playing Colorado bats with a 7-run total, there's a book out there. Well, there's a book right here. This book, Painting the Edge. They looked at stats. It's a few years old. I can try and find it quick. But it pretty much says, like, if a team's implied for 6 runs, more times... Oh, is this right here? No, it's Mike Trout. If a team's implied for 6 runs, the percentage of time that they actually get to that run total or more is insane. It's like 70% of the time. It's something ridiculous. Now, I might be completely off, but it's something just so worth it that you really shouldn't be fading that team. So, yeah, Colorado guys, even the 9 hitters are going to be priced close to 5K today. So I would not go Kyle Freeland or Andrew Kashner. You're playing with fire with both of those guys. They're both dreadful. It's a slate that I don't like at all. How did you do in the first night of WNBA, says Gilbert? I did not play. I kind of hinted on it in the video. I did not play. There's no way to feel confident about the minutes. I'm playing with incomplete information, or just an amount of incomplete information that I don't feel comfortable with. So I did not play tonight. I feel you could leave 2K on the table and still win with 50 people, says Tommy. I doubt it. Building an optimal lineup that has $2,000 on the table is tough. One, and if you do it, 50 people won't have that lineup. I can almost guarantee that. You guys are watching this stream, 53 of you. I would be shocked if 5 of you built the same lineup, leaving $1,800 or more on the table. And that's with you trying to leave that much money on the table. There's no way the amount of people that are playing tonight, and optimizers in general, will be leaving that much money on the table. Bledsoe and Middleton not playing up to par. I agree, but at the same time, playing decent Middleton for sure. I've done it, so speak for yourself. One $15 entry, 4K, so LOL. I don't know what you mean, Kirk Smart. I'm not sure what you're talking about. You played $15 and won $4,000 in that contest. I guarantee that wasn't as big of a prize pool as the ones that are $30,000 or $10,000. If it's only 4K to first, it was probably a few thousand at most. Winning in a contest that has 2,800 people compared to $35,000 is much, much different odds. Still terrible odds. Somebody has to win it, sure, but still terrible odds. Norman Powell, something is telling me to get Middleton, but I can't bring myself to do it because of the price, and he's streaky. What's your stance on Chris? Exact same stance, and 888. I'm not getting to him because of the price, not getting to him because I do prefer Siakam. I also do prefer guys cheaper than him, but it scares me. It does. That's the biggest spot that I don't like having. The best captain pick is Chris Middleton. Could be. Same thing. I'm scared not having him, but I'm just not getting to him. Broxton and H. Alberto for Baltimore. Yeah, get as much Baltimore as you want. Get as much Colorado as you can get to. Step up night. Middleton safe play. Not safe, but definitely scary not having. Middleton should drop 45 to 50 DK points tonight. Well, that's a hell of a projection. Should drop that. I would sharply disagree with that since I have him around 38. Could drop that for sure, but should meaning that more times than not, no way. What is your major? I graduated now, but I did a 5-year master's program in business strategy. That is what my major was. Fred VanVleet or Norman Powell? Fred VanVleet or Norman Powell. So I did this the other night. This was George Hill or Norman Powell. Norman Powell is a great pivot off of Fred VanVleet tonight, but I still side with Fred VanVleet. Powell. It wasn't first place, but it was still 4K. I'll take it. Yeah. I'm just saying first place. Winning that much money is more than possible in many different tournaments, right? Knocking out first place is huge. Hill. What is this one? Fred VanVleet and Bledsoe or Powell Brogdon for cash, says EJ. Look, you were playing cash on a showdown slate? Oy vey. That's not good. You have no edge in cash on a showdown slate. Fred VanVleet and Bledsoe or Powell and Brogdon. I'll go Fred VanVleet and Bledsoe. I never win. I just love donating to everybody's vacation. Of course, we donate to the cause of Draftkings. Thoughts on Gasol ownership tonight? I don't know what his ownership is. I have no idea. I don't care if it's high. I still like him at 5,600. He's too cheap. I think people will be on him a lot because he's at that price point where it lets you do anything you want, and he's still a very good player. The last game hopefully drives people off of him. I have no idea what the ownership will be on these one-game slates. That's why most sites don't project it, because they have no idea either. It's a one-game slate. I disagree with playing a $20 tournament and winning $2,500 is a bad thing. If I could do that every time, that would be awesome. Charlie White says that. I think that's bad. I think that's a bad way to look at it. $20 tournament and winning $2,500 is a bad thing. No, the idea is that there's 35,000 people in the tournament, and if I told you tonight that for first place you would win $2,500, you would not play this tournament. You should not win this tournament. I'm not telling you that you're guaranteed to win it. Yes, if I told you you were guaranteed to win $2,500 if you put $20 in, that's a good thing. But if I tell you that first place is not that $50,000 that's catching your eye, but realistically it's $2,500, then you shouldn't be playing that tournament. And if you think that you should, and you're putting $20 in to win $2,500 with that low of odds, there's probably every other contest on DraftKings that has a better payout structure. So people see 50 grand and they think they're going to win that tonight. One game in the whole playoffs might have actually gone full on DraftKings to the one person up top. The far majority of them split it so many different ways. Do you have Greek Freak and Kawhi in a lineup, or can you just go one? Do you have to? I think I think more times than not you have to have both. Do you think they play small ball tonight, hurting Gasol and Lopez? I don't think it would hurt Gasol. If anything, it might hurt Lopez, but I think it's more so at the Mirotic's expense and maybe Ibaka's expense, not so much the starters. I think the Bucks get run tonight. They might. All right, guys. I'm gonna end this one. 37 minutes. Best of luck tonight. Best of luck, everybody. If Fast City Fear is on, enjoy that as well. Peace out, gang.